Hello, and welcome to today's episode of the Safe Schools Rainbow Roundtable. I'm Franchesca the Board Secretary of Safe Schools, and it's a pleasure to have you join us. The Rainbow Roundtable is unique in America to explore the student and youth LGBTQ+ experience. Today, we delve into a topic close to our hearts and critical to our ongoing dialogue about inclusion, equality, and understanding the transgender experience. From the vibrant visibility of transgender and non-binary individuals in the media to the historic recognition of Transgender Day of Visibility by the White House, we've witnessed monumental steps towards acceptance and understanding. Yet, juxtaposed against this progress, we find a landscape marred by legislative efforts aimed at eroding the rights and dignities of our transgender siblings. Today, we stand at a crossroads between celebration of authenticity and the challenges of existing in a world that often resists change. This evening, we're not just sharing stories or statistics. We're igniting a conversation about the real lived experiences of transgender and non-binary people, especially our youth, against the backdrop of an evolving society that both embraces and also challenges their journey towards living as their authentic selves. We'll explore the joy, the resilience, and the undeniable spirit of the community, alongside the sobering reality of anti-trans legislation sweeping across states like Florida, and what it means for the future of LGBTQ rights and well-being. Joining us are a panel of remarkable individuals, each bringing their unique perspective and expertise to today's discussion. Let's welcome Vaughn Sellers. She studies theater at Barry University and is a social media influence and cheer coach. Welcome, Vaughn.
Hi, everyone. I'm Vaughn. I am a 21-year-old trans woman. I am a cheer coach. Such a headache. I started studying theater and social work at Barry University. I will be transferring to FIU in the summer. And I'm happy to be here today to share my experiences. Every voice matters, and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Next, let's welcome Mateo Ventura Brewer. Mateo is the first trans executive director of the largest nonprofit LGBTQ+ women's organization in Florida, the Aqua Foundation for Women. Welcome, Mateo.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and just make sure you get your tickets for our totally free LGBTQ+ family barbecue that's happening on Sunday, March 3rd in historic Virginia Key Beach. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have water slides, activities for the kids, as well as food and a DJ. So
awesome. Next, let's welcome June Raven Romero. She is a well-known actress here in South Florida. Hi, and welcome, June.
Hi. Hi. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to get into the conversation if it's something I can do well and speak at length. And I'm starring in a one-woman show. It's an immersive show put on by Juggernaut Theater Company, who is the immersive leader in the southeastern region of the United States, really. They put on compelling, beautiful, exciting work. And the show is essentially about an Elvis fan club fanatic.
Next, let's welcome Brianna Bree Benz. She currently sits as an advisory board member for the prestigious Miami-Dade LGBTQIA+ Advisory Board. Well, welcome, Bree.
Hi, yes. My name is Bree. I actually was born in 1961, so I'm probably the oldest person here on the panel. Lots of experience, historical experience, I think I can add to this. I don't have anything I'm promoting. I'm just grateful to be here and pleasure to meet everybody.
I'm right there with you with the experience. So, yeah. And now let's welcome Taya Harlan, the Director of Public Relations for Reflect Collective. Welcome.
Hi, guys. So I'm really excited about what we have at Reflect this year. We're going to do Queer Fest pretty soon, so follow our social media for more information. And I'm Taya. I'm also a college student. I'm 24, just turned 24. Oh my God, that's crazy. And I study women and gender studies. I'm going to be doing a social work master's.
You're awesome. As we approach the conclusion of today's Safe Schools Rainbow Roundtable, we turn our focus to the horizon, a future brimming with hope and promise for transgender and non-binary individuals everywhere. A future where every person can live authentically without fear, and where acceptance and support are not just ideals, but universal truths, these truths that guide our societies. Imagine a world where every transgender and non-binary person has access to the support and medical care they need, where their rights are protected and their identities are celebrated. A world where the stories we've shared today are not exceptions, but the norm. This future is not just a dream, it's a possibility within our reach. Creating this future requires commitment from each of us. It starts with education, understanding the issues and challenges faced by the transgender and non-binary community. And it grows through involvement, engaging with local community organizations that advocate for LGBTQ plus rights and offer support to those in need. And it really solidifies through our civic duties, registering to vote as soon as you are of age, and supporting policymakers who stand up for equality and justice. Our voices, our votes, have the power to shape societies that embrace diversity and foster inclusivity. The journey to a more inclusive future is paved with the actions of today. It's a future where the narratives of transgender and non-binary individuals are not defined by struggle, but by their joy, achievements, and the fullness of their lives. Let us leave today's roundtable not just inspired, but motivated. Motivated to educate, to engage, and to vote. Together, we can transform our hopes into reality, ensuring that the future is bright for all, irrespective of gender identity. So panelists, as we look at this hopeful future, what do you see as the key steps we must take to make it a reality? And how can individuals and communities contribute to building a world where every transgender and non-binary person can thrive?
You know, you mentioned earlier, we were talking about visibility, and visibility does not equate to longevity or to action, right? Those two are different things. Laverne Cox graced the cover of Time magazine in 2015 or 2016, and it was titled The Transgender Tipping Point. Christine Jorgensen was the first GI who came overseas and was publicized heavily as the first successfully transitioned woman, So we've been here before, and we can fall right back to the depths of where we've been too. And I say that to our community. I say that to the people who support us, continue in this fight. To folks who are looking to Florida and looking at Florida, worry about us, but don't worry about us too much. We're gonna unify, and we are unifying. And this is, my trans parents often tell me, this is a lull. This is a swing in the opposite direction. This is the pendulum effect, like we describe it as. We will get back to a more progressive time in Florida, and we need to stand our ground while that happens and make it happen. So that's what I say. And to my folks who want to transition, find us, find the folks who you want to look up to, who you want to ask questions to. We are not distant from you. We're not worlds apart. You can reach us. You can ask us questions. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid to approach us.
100%. Yeah.
I also feel like me being because I started transitioning when I was 19. Me being younger, I definitely say that you to the younger youth, you got it, keep going, you will be loved. I used to think that I was gonna be ostracized, or don't get me wrong, I was ostracized a little bit, but I was not gonna have no love, I would lose all of my friends. It was always, you're gonna always have to push and stand on who you are, be confident in who you are, because sometimes when you don't, it tends to lead you into the wrong dark path, and it's not good. But also try to have a good support system behind your back. I don't care if it's a dog, have it, you need it, because literally, I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't just push. I had that friend group to push me. I wouldn't have got into cheer if I didn't have my friends there backing me up saying, do it. We understand, literally, I told in the last roundtable, I told my friend I'm not trying out for cheer because I don't want to put on no pants. And she inboxed the cheer coach and my friend don't want to put on pants. And the coach was like, okay, that's fine. Like, and look at me now, like cheer coach, cheerleader.
Yes.
You get somewhere in life. Like, I think we don't focus on so much of the struggle. Like, yeah, you seeing all these bad things that are happening in Florida right now. Look at the positive. Always look on the bright side, because if you keep looking on the negative side, you're gonna always have this pessimistic view on life. And I always think to always don't forget that the pessimistic things are there, but overlook everything as a positive thing, because in the end, you will prevail. You will prevail. I manifest it for you.
We will
Love
prevail.
that.
And I like what you had mentioned about visibility versus action. You know, like what actions can we take? We can vote. We can write to our legislative Congress bodies. We can show up. You know, we can show up, show out, and be seen.
And in the
right?
meantime, and this is it's one thing too, let's not deny the reality that's happening for so many
Right.
trans folks in Florida. They are getting restricted access now, or access being restricted.
Right.
Reach out to your orgs. Reach out to the Mackenzie Project. Reach out to Trans Inclusive. Reach out to Trans Social. Reach out to, Planned Parenthood chapters within you, near you. Reach out. There are resources. There are roads and avenues, back roads, loopholes, anything. We've got it. And that's all I'll say about that. But reach out.
And I'm gonna second that, because a lot of people you bring up politics and like voting and stuff, and yes, that's important, but being together with these communities, like we're saying, and standing up and going, a lot of these places do a lot of protests. I know the Mackenzie Project has done some protests before and been in different spaces, and I know different orgs have shown up in different protests. Go do that. Go together, it's strength in numbers.
100%.
For sure. And strength in numbers, I definitely agree with that. And Vaughn, you mentioned being your authentic self and just keep going, and you are going to have, find people who back you. And I think a lot of allies are out there that don't know they're allies yet. And something that we've all chosen to do by being forward with our identities and bringing that with us to work and whatever other spaces we go into, we give people an opportunity to become allies by getting to know us and realizing that we're just people.
Yeah.
Yes, I heavy on the I feel like there's a thing as teaching someone to be an ally. Some people, again, they don't know that they're allies. Prime example, I have a friend from Chicago who I met at school. The cheerleader, she's never been around a trans person every day and stuff like that. And we've been friends for 3 years now. And she's tells me every day, you taught me so much about the community. You taught me to be an ally. I will always stick up for y'all. I will always be there. They are there. You just have to be there. When you're around them so much, they tend to love you. They tend to protect you. They defend you. They're there. But you just gotta put yourself out there. Let someone know. Don't be unspoken. Speak.
Yeah.
Your voice matters. I promise you.
And I've always thought myself that, for me personally, my trans identity is just such a small part of what I bring to the table,
literally.
right? I have so many other attributes, and when you allow yourself to shine and you share those attributes with people, then people are like, oh, she's a this and she's a that, and then all of a sudden, you're being trans kind of leaves the equation, and they see you as a human being, as a person, as Mateo had said earlier. So keep on shining.
And I think sometimes people are also misguided allies. They want to be allies, but sometimes they might not know the right things to do or the right terms. So even help, the misguided allies that might be lost little ducklings sometimes,
Sure.
Once somebody explained to me, when you're doing public speaking, to sort of recognize that in a group you may find that 20% are in agreement with you, and no matter what you say, they're in agreement with you, and there's going to be 20% that no matter what you say, they aren't listening, they have no interest, and then you're focusing your effort on communicating with the 60% that are just on that line, and you can help them over that. And I find that when I'm talking to people individually, I try to recognize those people. And so if they potentially ask the wrong question or misgender me or something like that, I'm very soft with them. I'm sort of like, hey, this is a better way of saying this or communicating, and I'm here, I'm thankful for you to be here. And so I think there's a different way of communicating with that part of the population that actually wants to be more supportive and welcome them in.
And I also feel backing on what Franchesca said, being trans, that's like the smallest part of my identity. Like us at the table, activist, businesswoman, actress, we're all businessmen. Like, come on, cheerleader, cheer coach. Like, we are regular people just living our daily lives. Like, we fight we fight for just more than trans rights. Like, I fight for women's rights. Oh, Black Lives Matter. I fight for everyone. Like, it does not matter. Like, we are just living. We are here. We are people, and I would say that to the death of me. Like, we are regular people. I don't want to be categorized as like, oh, the transgender. No, I'm a regular person. You don't always have to acknowledge that about me, because that's not my best attribute. That's for me and my gender expression and who I am. Like, that's okay for me to know, but like, you don't always have to point it out, because now I just feel like it's not like you're like a misguided eye. Like, you don't know that that's kind of irritating. Like, it's not, you don't have to point that out. You don't have to introduce me as your trans friend.
Another shout out to Juggernaut Theater Company. When you mentioned that, Vaughn, it came up in my mind. Juggernaut Theater Company, with whom I'm doing this show now, Conjuring the King, opens March 1st. But they were the first company to extend to me a hand and an invitation to audition for a character that was not explicitly trans. And the second company, actually, but they also grew up fostered by the owners of the first company. And so this community was really the first to tell me, you are an actor, you're a good actor, and your presence on stage and on screen, it doesn't matter. Your identity is not something we're thinking of foremost. And that was super liberating to me. That was so liberating. And I've worked with them in many capacities now, in many roles, and it's always been the case. We want you because you are the designated actor for this role, not because of your transness. And then I'll also say, on the flip side, there is something that is sacred about the fact that trans people exist overall. Each of us as individuals are unique individuals that are worthy of our own, admiration and respect. But there's also something sacred about the balance that we provide as transgender people to a greater society, just like the balance as cisgender people and traditionally reproductive people provide to our society, because it's undeniable, right? But so are we. And so that's what I want people to move forward and always remembering. And also to the folks, like we said, to the folks who are trans or gender nonconforming, look at the ways in your life that people have affirmed you. Look for the small and large ways that people have been allies to you, and the people who have been there throughout your entire journey, supporting you and holding you up. Continue to search for those people. They're always going to be there.
Right.